I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the menopause. We at war. I'm siding with the Lord.
Control your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
Like this. This is like an apartment in a hotel. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My cap under feet. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the menopause. We at war. I'm siding with the Lord.
Control your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
Like this. This is like an apartment in a hotel. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My cap under feet. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.
Shalom. Shalom, Israelites. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA. A man with the rank and authority to be the ruler of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans at this time. I want to say Yahweh Basham Yahweh Barakatam to the brothers, Yahweh Shema Ayatan Basham Yahweh to the sisters. Welcome to our Wednesday evening law class, where we look at the laws of the Bible. This evening topic, the God of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans hates unrighteousness. Now, no matter who unrighteousness is pushing unrighteousness, the Most High doesn't like it. Because unrighteousness is actually sin.
Right.
Right. Unrighteousness is actually you breaking the laws. When you break the laws, that makes you unrighteous. The Most High does not like disobedient children and disobedient people. Right. Just like Ukraine being disobedient to the father, Russia.
Right.
Yes, Father. Yeah, and we in the West here can talk about that with Ukraine, you know. Why? Backside man, them racists can't believe it. Well, I mean, we in the truth now, not surprised. Esau is Esau wherever he may go.
Right.
But I mean, in the heights of war, you remember to run from the bombings, but you don't forget to be racist.
Right.
I guess when Putin says he's denazifying Ukraine, I guess he's right.
Right.
Those actions are Nazi segregationist style. I saw a video the other day that said that was saying that Hitler, when Hitler was forming the Nazi, he sent his lawmakers to America to study America's Jim Crow law.
Gone.
And he formed the Nazi segregationist policy based off America's Jim Crow law. So, I mean, birthplace of racism, you know?
Right.
These nations just perpetuate hate among our people. And yet still they want the whole world to love them. But you are going to push back. Not only blacks, you know, it look like they are being racist against the Indians.
Gone.
Yeah, it's only just like what the Nazi was about, blonde hair, blue eye. Yeah, man, that's what they seem to be about. All right. All right. I see you have a Facebook user here that said, I want to come. Who's that Facebook user? I don't know.
The name say Silaki. Let me find the name. My Ewing.
My Ewing.
Gone, sir.
I don't know who that is. Well, not that we would know, but I mean. All right, Facebook user, there's a phone number in the description. Just call that number. I can pick it up from there. All right, you will just call the number in the description. All right. fresh topic in this world, you know, is the Ukraine, Russia invading Ukraine. Sure. That kind of crisis. But, you know, we Israelites have to be about Israelites' business.
Okay.
So we know that Russian invasion of Ukraine. We know that, all right. What are the wars that happened since? All those wars that you say happened since coronavirus, and it's part of the wars leading up to World War III.
Right.
Those wars that you see in Africa, the scripture said there'll be sedition. Those wars that you see in some breakout in Yemen, this one in Ukraine. I think we had Israel bombing Palestine during that time too, right?
Yeah, cancer.
Just the other day, right?
Correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
And now this one. So some other, who knows, maybe Taiwan gonna get invaded. So all these wars are gonna just break out and just lead to some crazy person tripping some wire, especially this one. This one escalating in an insane kind of way, you know.
Okay.
They're shoring up troops in Poland. America sending warships up to that region. Not warship, you know, warships, more than one, to that region. It's just a matter of time before long COVID chip in and somebody chip a wire, you know, chip a wire. You know, the long COVID, like the memory and a lapse.
God.
Somebody with them long COVID self just don't remember something and trip a wire, and then you hear that either Russia say, I totally forget. Sure, if they got involved, I'm going to retaliate, because you have those who calling for America and the UK to set up no-fly zone. Well, if I set up no-fly zone over Ukraine when Russia is inside it,
Right.
unless you want a war.
Right.
But you know that is they trick Ukraine though. Well, you know that.
So, God, it'll look more and more like that, God, sir. Slovakia.
Yeah, you know, when Russia fell, Ukraine had nuclear weapon.
Slovakia, say that again, sir.
When Russia, the USSR collapsed, communism collapsed. Ukraine had thing there, you know.
Nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the UK, Russia, and America convinced them to give it up. And they gave it to Russia. Now, as a bargain for giving it up, the UK, Russia, and America pledged to protect Ukraine in the case of any major war.
Okay,
This is why Zelensky keep on knocking at the door of NATO and keep saying, am I going to be a part of NATO or not? Because they had promised him protection for the nuclear weapons that he was left with after the collapse of the Soviet Union. But this is what happens when you're not a politician.
Right.
Yeah, Ukraine, they're not a political country really like Russia. The politicians there were Russia, UK, and America. Those three countries were the three politicians when they convinced him to give up the nuclear weapon. Which in way, what he should have done, he said, nah, you don't need to worry about me having it. I'm not going to use it. It's just for my protection. He could have done something like that. But like I said, ain't my business. They can kill them one another if you like here. It's a worse
Right.
like how I see the racism coming out. Imagine you have a war and you don't forget to be racist, but you're calling for the world to help you.
Good.
Yeah, like here, yeah man, yes Putin, bust their ass. And yes America, get involved. Go set up no-fly zone and kick off World War III.
Right.
Turn the world upside down and make we get for free. Because more and more these people are showing that they are not worthy to be any ruler of this world. The rule of this, the rightful ruler of this world is Christ. And he will rule this world with righteousness. In the same way that when he was walking this earth as King Solomon, he was ruling this earth in righteousness.
Right.
Back in the days of King Solomon, David's son. And we know that Christ is going to come back to rule this world again in righteousness. Right after the World War. Right when, it's not when the war starts really, you know. It's just before the nuclear bombs rain down. Because it's going to be a war in which, you know, it seems like nobody not going to win. And then somebody just says, chump, F it. Because what is going to break out? Famine is going to break out. Disease is going to break out. So many things is going to happen that they are going to just say, you know what, F it, just blow up the whole thing. And we go underground and come back up. When after the thing they pass, what do you call it? The fallout. After the nuclear fallout pass. But little did they know what really is to come. So they use nuclear, they use Ukraine as a bait. Yeah, man. Sweet him up, give him some of the delicacies of the West. Babylon, the delicacies of Babylon that is spoken of in Revelation. For no man enjoy of her delicacies again. You know what that delicacies be? Them free monies that whatever should be going to the West here and to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans back this side. Is it them take and donate from year to Ukraine, build up Ukraine? So Ukraine, so them look.
All right.
They don't look like people starving. They don't look like people suffering. They ensure that because what? It's Europe. But at the same time, you want to pressure we back here so now say we were going communist, ain't it? While those countries weren't going communist, those countries were communist. And yet still, those are the countries that you spend the money to build up. And you still have us under bondage. Communists fall, and you still have us under bondage around here.
Right.
But that's what you say. White man only look out for white man. That's plain and simple what it is. They don't give a rat's ass about any other race. They only look out for themselves. All right. We're going back in time. Give us let's go to 1 Kings chapter 9.
Another one gone.
We are about examining our records for the purpose of our people. And I can tell all our listeners who are blacks, Hispanics, and Native American that this war that you see is happening now. Even if it goes further into a world war, be not troubled. It ain't our war, it's our freedom.
Right.
You have it?
1 Kings chapter 9, sir.
1 Kings 9, say, yeah. 1 Kings chapter 9, reading from 1.
Another one gone. This is the book of 1 Kings.
No, I was saying go ahead and unleash it.
Another one gone.
Bombs are being unleashed.
Right. This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 9 and verse 1. And it came to pass when Solomon had finished the building of the house of the Lord and the king's house and all Solomon's desires, which he was pleased to do. Verse 2, that the Lord appeared to Solomon the second time, as he had appeared unto him at Gibeon.
First Kings 9.
Answer, verse 2.
All right. You read 1?
Answer.
All right. It came to pass when Solomon had finished building up house, right? And all Solomon's desire which he was pleased to do, that the Lord appeared to Solomon the second time, as he had appeared unto him at Gibeon. So at Gibeon, the Most High appeared to him in a dream. So this time he appeared again in a dream.
Okay.
All right, verse 3.
Another one, verse 3. And the Lord said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication that thou hast made before me. I have allowed this house which thou hast built to put my name there forever, and mine eyes and mine heart shall be there perpetually.
All right, so the Most High is letting Solomon know that, I am impressed with the work that you are doing, not the work that you have done. And yeah. I will, because based on how well, we read about how, what's the word you can use? How the temple was built. No noise was made while the temple was being built, right? Remember that?
Right.
It was made like in a quarry and came to site and fit up. And you had the cherubims and all that. The Most High was impressed at this. And then the Most High realized that this work was done unto his glory, and that it was the desire of the people's heart, the king's heart especially, to build this temple unto the Most High as a place where the people can commune, or you can say reconcile with God. And because God was impressed, the Most High told him this, that I have allowed this house. What does allowed mean? Look at allowed again. What does allowed mean again?
Another one, can. Another one, made holy, consecrate.
Right. Consecrate, make holy, and holy means to make separate, right?
Another one.
So is another way of saying to Solomon, I have accepted this house as a separate place, separate from all the other buildings on the face of the earth, to be unto me.
Okay.
Right? So he said that he has allowed this house that he have built, and he has put his name there forever. So when the Most High use the term forever, what it really means is he will honor his end of the bargain for as long as we stick to his law. So that's why he said, I put my name on this house forever. So if we were able to keep the laws of the Most High, even until today, we would have that temple,
Right.
We would have had that temple. But, we are such a, we like the rough side of the mountain. So in other words, rather than learning about God by being obedient to him, we want to learn about God by being disobedient and experiencing his judgment.
Right.
This is why the most I have to write the things the way you write it, you know, say, only you alone know we alone know his judgment. Because only we he really punish, because he had a covenant with us. You understand? So
Another one. God.
this temple was to be our place to meet with the Most High forever, and mine eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. This is the Most High's promise, and you know that the Most High doesn't go, has never broke any of his promise that he made to us.
Right.
Who do the breaking of the promise?
We did, sir.
Only we.
God.
All these promises that he has made unto us, he has never broke one.
God.
And guess what? We break all of them. That's why he give us Esau the way, make Esau speak to us with forked up. So that we feel what it is like for somebody to say that they are going to do something and don't do it. Moses is telling us, this ain't nice. All right, so that's what, verse 3, right?
Another one. Gun.
All right, next verse.
Another one. Gun. Verse 4. And if thou wilt walk before me, as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgments. Verse 5. Then will I establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever, as I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel.
All right, so here you have it. The Most High is saying, if you walk before me as David walked before me, in integrity of heart, uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded. And what does the Most High commandment? That we keep his statutes and his judgments, meaning, you, just like we have a court of law today, when you, all right, let's say in our court of law, you have a rich man dying and leave. You have children, daughters and sons, and a wife, and he did not leave a will. And then everybody in the court, everybody in the family want assets, and the matter reached the court. How you think our court settle it, our court that we have now here in Jamaica, how you think they would settle such discrepancy?
Not sure, sir.
Right. You don't even know. You can't guess.
God.
By law, you're going to tell the wife, things will pass to the wife. But he has children. If you're going to judge according to God's law now, what would you do?
He would give it to the firstborn son.
Thank you. And that
God.
is known and established throughout Israel.
God.
In the times of our kings. The assets of the father goes to his firstborn son, regardless of which woman he have him with. So if you go and sleep with a careless woman, or an insane woman, and get a son, well, there are other rules in which if it is an irresponsible son, you have a right to remove it from him. You know that?
God.
You're familiar with that. If you have an irresponsible son, you can remove the right of the firstborn. Just like our with the 12 tribe. Who was the firstborn?
Reuben.
Reuben. But
God.
which means if Reuben didn't do what he do, then Christ probably would have born through Reuben.
God.
But the right of the firstborn went to Judah after Reuben defiled his father's bed. So Christ, who knows, could have been a Reubenite. But so these show you now that we have our laws are alive, right? And even though the Most High, we don't have Jerusalem, and so the laws are still being judged on us. That is why we go through what you call the curses.
Right.
So that shows you that the Most High still have not what should we say, gone back on his promise. So even when we're not in the land, his promise is still alive, because that's the way he is. He's one to hold whatever he promises. All right, verse 5 said, then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever. And he has not gone back on that promise. That is why we are, who are we awaiting arrival of? A return of?
Our King, Yahweh.
Yahweh, who is in the Greek name, we said Jesus.
God.
So we are waiting the return of Jesus the Christ, which is what here it is in Kings, with the Most High promise Solomon to establish, to carry out the promise he made with David. Well, years after now, we learned that it was actually Christ, one of the incarnate Christ he was speaking to in the form of Solomon, when he said that there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne, and that he will establish the throne of his kingdom upon Israel, meaning all the 12 tribes forever. And that is why we know that all 12 tribes should be one. And funny enough, you hear the report that coming from Mexico, what the Mexican, the officer over Mexico is saying, what the Mexicans are saying. They don't believe that they are one of the tribes. It's just we trying to get them in. Just we trying to get them into Black Lives Matters.
Oh. So
yeah. That's what some of them are saying. So, no. But you see, how much different is that from what Jamaicans would say? How what Americans would say? How what the people in Haiti would say? So in any one of the house of Israel you're going to today, they are saying, nah, we are not. You know who is saying that they are?
The oppressor.
Right. Those who are not of the bloodline, because they look and they see, they are able to see the good that is in the promise to Israel. But we can't see it.
God. Exactly, sir.
Yeah.
One main reason is the Christian church has demonized the children of Israel too. You know what I mean? Saying that Israel is the one who crucified and we rejected Christ. So the stigma that is upon the children of Israel due to Christianity makes us as a people, or would contribute to us as a people, just don't want that title. Meanwhile, the oppressor gladly take it because he knows it's a lie. No go so.
Gladly call himself a Jew.
Right. God.
And by calling himself a Jew and following the laws he's able to rule the world.
Gone.
Just like the scripture says. Right? And Zelensky, we know Zelensky is Jewish.
Gone.
He ain't ruling nothing. You don't have a feelings that Russia going to kill him though.
It seems like that Putin war do still. Slovakia.
Yeah, because he's not playing ball.
Gone.
They want him to play ball, but he's not playing ball. But what do we care? We don't care about that. I mean, when I want to kill Zelensky, I want to kill himself, or I want to kill drop bomb on UK or upon America. For them business that. They are about Israelite business. And our business is to wake up our people. So if it takes some bombs to fall, even outside of Ukraine, for our people to wake up, the Most High is going to do it. Yeah. And when Putin put the nuclear bomb on high alert, I mean, trust me, it got a lot of blacks thinking, because everybody else have fallout shelter and we don't. You know, Ukraine is a country that we don't hear anything about Ukraine and slavery.
Right.
We don't know anything about that. But they do understand how to be racist.
Right.
They haven't forgotten how to be racist. I use the term forgotten because it was part of Esau to eat. Esau and Jacob was tussling from in the womb.
Okay.
So even though they weren't our slave masters, they haven't forgotten how to be racist. And as Commanding General YAHANNA said, they don't know the difference between we and the Africans.
Right.
The Americans do. UK, them in UK does. Probably Spain, because Spain was one of the later slave masters too. Italy, them place. But Ukraine wasn't involved in them kind of slavery. But somehow they pick up the racism. So like we say still, you know, when bomber fall, if it takes these persons, if it takes bomb to fall on their country for our people to wake up, then it's gonna happen.
Right.
Because our people is off. Because our people is such that they are, should I use the word naive?
Naive would be an excellent word.
Our people are as naive as Zelensky is.
God.
Because Zelensky is such that he does not see. He doesn't see that we call it NATO and EU have had no intention to take them in.
Right.
They get some of the sweetie, they get some of the delicacies of the West, but I mean that is what you call white privilege. That is definitely white privilege, right? Because they get in some things that they did not work for. They were communists. We were branded as want him to be communist, and our economy pay, and is still paying. They were communists, and
God.
they are living from the delicacies of Babylon.
Right.
Right, the same monies that should be going to the children of the slaves, who America have under is what you call it, the claws of the eagle, the talons, which America have under its talons, grip all 12 tribes, and will not let go. So it's gonna take some bombs for them to release their talons and let go our people.
Right.
And when they do so, those are for people who still want to cleave unto them. They are going to, they are the ones, they are going to fall them, they are going to find themselves in and the most I say is he's going to punish 2/3 of us. But right now, trust me, the doors are still open. So this person here said they want to be a member. Yeah, just make a phone call so that we can know who it is and we take it from there. You're making the right step.
Silaki, I think they were asking to come to the Passover. She said she wanted to go when the ad was running.
Yeah, man, she can call, see, I'll give her information about the Passover.
Okay.
I can still call whoever you are. I will give you information about the Passover. No problem with that. Right. The Passover, once you are of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, you have the right to attend. Well, I will tell you have the right still, but you can attend unless there is some. You are one of those who are barred from attending. If you are not barred from attending, you can attend. There are some persons that are barred from attending, right? All right, Officer Kayadon. Hello.
Slakia, sir. What is it?
I was saying, that there are some persons who are barred from attending.
Okay, gone.
So I'm saying, unless the person who asks the question is not one of those who are barred from attending, yeah, man, they can come.
Gone.
But some people, they don't know behavior. Plus other things. All right, so King Solomon now made that temple, and the Most High accept it and said, this is a place that I will, I am impressed. Continue.
Another one, gone, verse 6. But if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye are your children, and will not keep my commandment and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them. Verse 7. Then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people.
All right, we know how it went.
God.
Because we are a proverb and a byword. The term nigger is what? Proverb or byword?
God is a proverb, and a slakia is a byword.
It's a byword.
God.
And speaks and wet back and Whatever name they call the other tribes.
Salakia. And Salakia, sir, right here you see where him promised that he would Salakia, and I will cut off Israel out of the land which I have given thee. And I see him thing up after him thing there. He married the daughters of Pharaoh and fell off. The kingdom split.
Kingdom split, just like the Most I said.
Another one can.
Let women lead him astray.
Can.
All right, next verse.
Another one can, verse 8. And at this house, which is I, every one that passeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss, and they shall say, why has God done thus unto this land, and to this and to this house?
Now the Most High is saying this when the house just built and is splendid and beautiful.
God.
And my fellow say, whenever this me is so pretty, I'll cut it down and make everybody who pass and say, see, shall say, why has God done this? They shall hiss, meaning, and they shall say, why hath the Lord done this unto this land, unto this house? Verse 9.
Another one can. Verse 9. And they shall answer, because they forsook the Lord their God, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and has taken hold upon other gods, and have worshipped them and served them. Therefore, as the Lord brought upon them all this evil.
And that is still so true today. What are the other gods that we are worshiping today? Today marks what?
Today is what they call Ash Wednesday.
Which is what? Which they said is what? The beginning of the end.
Okay, can.
All right. And Ash Wednesday, you show me that in the Bible.
Can.
And it's an high holy day for the Christians. Right. Not in the scriptures. Right? There's no scripture there where we throw no ashes upon our head before. As a matter of fact, there's no season of Lent that we should be keeping as no holy anything. That we should be hallowed. That should be hallowed. And Easter has nothing to do with the crucifixion. Easter is about the god of fertility.
Right.
Whose name is Easter in English, but Ishtar in another tongue. And they talk about Easter. Now, if this was about Christ's crucifixion or something, how comes bunny with eggs come into this time?
Right.
And since when rabbits start laying eggs?
Right.
Right. So all these has to do with, that egg hunting has to do with fertility.
Another one can.
As with Ishtar, the worshiping of Ishtar, it has to do with fertility. It's a god of fertility. So at this time, right about when thing there is supposed to start, what do you call it? Spring is supposed to start. Then right at the beginning of spring, you go and worship the god of a god that manna made and said it's a god of fertility. And by you worshiping this god, then you will have a good crop during spring. Well, I have news for my people. You continue being disrespectful to God, the Most High God of Israel, and see if you will ever have a good crop.
Right.
That is what is not. That is why you don't have a good crop. Not because of no Ishtar. And for those heathen who believe that because they are worshiping Ishtar while they are having good crop, they are only having good crop because the Most High said that we, his people, will have to go to the oppressor for our food, shelter, and clothing. So it means that the Most High give them the food.
God.
So that they have the food that we have to come to them for. How we go to them for the food? By working for them.
Right.
Not that you go to beg them. Not that you go to them to beg them, but you go to them for work. So that you can provide food, shelter, and clothing. Right. So you know that these eggs that they and the bunny thing here, this I don't know what the bunny signifies still, you know. But the eggs signify fertility. And the eggs are hard boiled, you know. They hard boil the egg and paint them. And then they set up the egg hunt for children.
God.
This is so demonic. This is so, and why we say demonic? Because this is what it brings upon our people.
God.
Just like what the Most High say here. And they shall answer because they forsook the Lord their God, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have taken hold upon other gods, and have worshipped them, and served them. Therefore the Lord brought upon them all this evil. So we just come out of New Year's, Christmas, New Year's was of Janus, the God of beginnings, with the two faces, looking back and looking forward. Then we went into, just the other day, we were in Valentine's. They were worshiping, celebrating, worshiping Valentine's, Cupid, Roman god of love. And now they're getting ready to go and celebrate Ishtar,
God.
the god of fertility. So, I mean, you know, it's just one after the other. As soon as our people recover from one, these heathen have something else coming. When they don't celebrate, 40 days to celebrate the god of fertility. What should we be gearing up now to celebrate? We should be gearing up now to go and celebrate what the Most High has called the Passover.
Right.
That is what is in the scriptures. That is what we should be celebrating at this time. No false God. And here it is in the scripture as to why. And you see, these heathens are so clever. They mix the paganism with the truth and deceive our people.
Right.
But I mean, if our people were reading their records properly, they would pick up that something is wrong. And just by the truth won't come to you by reading it, you reading it on your own, you know. But you get that little nudge that, you know, something not right. Just like when we were searching for the truth and we saw the purple guys.
Right.
And you watch them and you say, you know, something right with them man. You can't figure out what it is, you know. But when you come in the truth, when you find the truth now, when you come in the truth, then looking back, you see what was wrong. But it's the same way for people just read the records for themselves. They would get the nudge to say, you know, something all right with this system. and they would ask the Most High to show them what is not right, and they would have found the truth. But no, it's gonna take some bombs for them to be awakened. You see how the bombs are loud?
Gone.
Those bombs wake up any sleeping person.
Right.
Yeah, man. Because those bombs don't disturb just your ears, you know. Just notice the reaction of the people in Ukraine. It disturbed down to their nerves. Right? Some of them can't sleep good. And this is how we know that this is going to be a prolonged thing. It's 2 or 3 days Russia didn't expect to spend in there. You know? Much days now they're gone.
So like, I think them gone 6 or 7 years now.
Tonight, when they wake up tomorrow, then it should be the 7th day.
Gone.
So Sunday wasn't the 5th day.
Sunday was probably I'm not sure. I heard them say something today about the 6th day. So is either today or yesterday was the 6th day. So
all right. So for argument's sake, they're going into the 7th day now.
Gone.
Still don't get key yet. Still don't get car key yet. So it's gonna be a little bit more prolonged than they think, because that's the way the Most High want it. These wars will have to be prolonged so that you see the things which the Most High speak of, which is famine, pestilence, right? And what else war brings? You not having a house.
Good.
Because many of them have their apartment, they now have to be sleeping on the streets. Some of them is just shockwave, look how they damage the apartment, you know. The bomb didn't really drop inside the apartment. But once it drop on the outside and that shockwave hit the building, all windows and doors knock out. So you might not die, but you can't stay in there. You have to go on the roadside to sleep. You're lucky enough if you can clean it out and go back in there, because I see when it's happening right in the height of winter.
Right.
And just like the scripture says, beat your plowshares and pruning hooks into weapons of war. Your plowshare into what? Sword. And your pruning hook into spears. You know, there was you see the Molotov cocktail that they have there in Ukraine that they're making. You know, the bottles are sponsored by a beer company.
Gone, aside.
Yeah, they stopped producing beer and using the bottles to make weapons for war.
God.
That is a classic example of beating the plowshares into and you're pruning hooks into weapons of war.
God.
Yeah, because they normally they will be making pruning hooks and plowshares used in farming, right?
Right.
So they use them for feeding, gathering the fruits and so on to feed the people. There's a beer company which provide employment, you know, and sell beer to make money. Now those bottles are into making. I think this one here is the local government building for Kharkiv. Right, so all these things have to come to pass, and it's going to happen. Well, it's better for all of them and all of us if it just happen quick and done. Because the more it is prolonged, and for their knowledge, the longer our people take to wake is the more they are going to suffer under those bombs.
Right.
So some one of them is gonna get smart and say, you know, if them black people don't wake up, these bombs not going to stop it, and just come out and say, you know that America have the Israelites there under bondage. Just wake them up and just so that the bomb can stop drop. I understand. Because the more we sleep is the longer the war is going to last. So these people, our people who are demonstrating about what them say praying for Ukraine, no, you don't need to pray for Ukraine. You wake up and the bombing will stop.
Right.
Yeah, the most I just call in the nuclear arsenal quick and done.
Right.
And take them from out of their misery much quicker than if you prolong your awakening. All right. Next verse is what now?
Silakia.
All right, we're going into Solomon, other things that Solomon did. Verse 10.
Mm-hmm. This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 9 and verse 10. And it came to pass at the end of 20 years, when Solomon had built 2 houses, the house of the Lord and the king's house. Verse 11. Now Hiram, the king of Tyre, had furnished Solomon with cedar tree and fir tree, and with gold according to all his desire. That then King Solomon gave Hiram 20 cities in the land of Galilee.
Wow. Continue.
Another one can, verse 12. And Hiram came out from Tyre to see the cities which Solomon had given him, and they pleased him not. Verse 13. And he said, what cities are these which thou hast given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul unto this day.
All right, so this is how events are even unto today. The only thing they probably be pleased with, if Solomon had built it in Hiram's land, maybe he would have been pleased. But these were in Galilee, which is in within our borders. What cities have you given? What are these cities, my brother? Right? But this is how heathen are. They are not appreciative of anything that we do with them. We give them reggae music. And what they turn around and do? Demonize us for the reggae. They end it. We give them jerk chicken. We teach them jerk. How to do this thing we call a jerk. It's not only chicken we jerk. You can basically jerk any meat. And what they turn around and do? Turn around and demonize us.
Right.
Then curse. The first time they used to have them, they would not get the jerk chicken within the hotels. You had to come out on the street to get it. Restaurant, jerk the pan chicken from the road, and so on. And what they turn around and do? Demonize those people and take away the jerk chicken.
Right.
So it's just like what this how Solomon built a beautiful place. Jerusalem was the talk of Jerusalem was which cities you would call Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi, no, Abu Dhabi. You call the next one. Dubai.
Dubai. Okay.
Dubai is where everybody talk about now, isn't it? Jerusalem was like the Dubai back then. Right? And we're going to read more and see some of the beautiful things that Solomon put in his cities. Continue.
Another one can, verse 14. And Hiram sent to the king 60 talents of gold. Verse 15. And this is the reason of the levy which King Solomon raised, for to build the house of the Lord, and his own house, and Millo, and the wall of Jerusalem, and Azar, and Megiddo, and Gezer. Verse 16. For Pharaoh king of Egypt had gone up and taken Gezer, and burned it with fire, and slain the Canaanites that dwell in the city, and given it for a present unto his daughter, Solomon's wife.
Hey,
Verse
Solomon,
17.
like Solomon did have stuff in nose, you know. My experience with them granted am I to money. How him take unto himself one of them one of a wife.
Okay.
One of them smell bad money. It smell bad, you know. So like he used to have stuff in nose, man. Continue.
Got one can. Verse 17. And Solomon built Gezer and Beth Oran and Nether, the Nether, Thalakia. Verse 18. And Baalat and Tadmor in the wilderness in the land.
All right. So you see when a country have prosperity, what you do? You build cities, man. You build cities because you can't build. You want to know what happened to cities in a war? Watch Ukraine. So you can't build cities when there's war. You build cities when there's prosperity. Ukraine was having prosperity. That's why them countries take time and look so wonderful, right? And they so much so now that you know it is now the victim of bombs. But just like our cities now, all of them gone. We have none. We had so much cities back then. And guess what? We were the owners of those cities. It was our people who had the talk, who had the business. We were not cursed in our cities at that time, while Solomon was king. All right. So Solomon even had cities which was far as chariots. He had so much chariots. I thought us put them in a city. So all these men who had to tend to the chariots, for chariots, chariot of horses, you know, you have to have, we call the one who deal with the horse show again, blacksmith. You're going to have the blacksmith, you're going to have the groomers, you're going to have those who make the chariot itself, the chariot maker. The various names that they would call them, all of them would be in that city. And then you need to feed them. Right? So that's how you have that city now where the chariots were the income for that city. All who work in maintaining, building, sustaining, whatever you call it, of these chariots. Just like when sugarcane was king in Jamaica. Sugar money maintained many towns. Right? When payday, when you look to see vendors who came in to sell to the people who were getting paid. That's how it worked. So just the fact that you had a couple thousand chariots and you put them into a city, that's an economic gain. You're creating an economic, you're creating an economy right there.
Okay.
What you need for maintaining chariot? You need smiths, right? You need those who are skilled in the craft of metal, those who are skilled in the craft of wood. And those chariots, if they are for war, you need those who are skilled in sword.
God.
It's just like in America in the days when they were mining coal, there were a lot of towns which strive from coal mining. When you have oil, you have cities that strive from oil. They mine oil. The cities strive from that. All right. So, next verse.
Another one, verse 19. And all the cities of store that Solomon had, and cities for his chariots, and cities for his horsemen, and that which Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem, and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his dominion.
Right. So all these now what being doing was creating jobs. Just like the American war machine. A lot of jobs it created. I mean, we can look and say job for the wrong purpose, but it's job. They create a lot of jobs just by creating a war machine. Continue.
Another one, verse 20. And all the people that were left of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, which were not of the children of Israel. Verse 21. Their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel also were not able to utterly destroy. Upon those did Solomon levy a tribute of bond service unto this day.
So he made them workers.
God.
Continue. Well, bond service is slavery, but
God.
it's not necessarily chattel slavery. Just like the slavery that we have today.
God.
Bond slavery. That's why we say we are going for slavery. You work, and you still not see much what you work for, don't you?
God.
That's why it's called slavery. Continue.
Gun. Verse 22. But of the children of Israel did Solomon make no bondmen, but they were men of war, and his servants, and his princes, and his captains, and rulers of his chariots, and his horsemen. Verse 23. These were the chief of the officers that were over Solomon's work, 550, which bear rule over the people that wrought in the work.
550 chief officers. So they will call them supervisors, managers, blue collar workers, so on and so forth. They are the man in charge. And who were below them? The bond servant. So, hey, let me tell you, Esau read the Bible. The same way the kingdom set up now, Esau's kingdom is set up the same way. These people on the top, and they have the bondmen below. Continue.
Verse 24. But Pharaoh's daughter came up out of the city of David unto her house, which Solomon had built for her. Then did he build Milo. Verse 25. And 3 times in a year did Solomon offer burnt offering and peace offering upon the altar which he built unto the Lord. And he built incense, and he burned incense upon the altar that was before the Lord. So he finished the house.
Okay.
Verse 26. And King Solomon made a navy of ships in the Ezion-Geber, which is beside Elat, on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. Another one. Verse 27. And Hiram sent in the navy his servants, shipmen that had knowledge of the sea, with the servants of Solomon. Verse 28.
You see how Hiram was such a lover of David and Solomon. He had all that he had in terms of knowledge, skill, craft, and so once Jerusalem wanted, he was there to give it.
God.
He was king of Tyre. All right. Tyre wasn't a city that was within our borders. It was a bit out. So it wasn't one that we were seeking to take out. It was a city by the sea, though, you know. And all these places, the Most High promised restoration. They are going to be restored. All them old, yeah.
Is Sidon the same thing as Sudan today?
Sudan, no, Sudan is more in Africa.
Okay.
Tyre and Zidon, Tyre and Zidon. They are two cities by the sea.
Okay, good.
Right. Sudan is a country not by the sea, really. The country in Africa.
Good.
All right. Tyre and Sidon was more up Lebanon side. More back up that side. More north.
Good.
And in what we today call Africa proper, which is bordered by Libya, Egypt, Ethiopia on the other side. All right, so Hiram sent men who were skilled in knowledge of the sea to work with Solomon's servants. All right, 28.
Another one gone, verse 28. And they came to Ophir and fetched from thence gold 420 talents and brought it to King Solomon.
Right, so Solomon had ships that were bringing in gold unto him all year round. All right, now another splendid story about King Solomon was when the Queen of Sheba visited him. All right, 10 and 1.
Another one gone. This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 10 and verse 1. And when the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions.
Continue.
Another one gone, verse 2. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart.
All right, so we see what she come to do. She came to prove him with hard questions.
Good.
Just like the Eden today, when you find yourself in a company and try, what do you think about so and so?
Good.
Testing you. It's not new. Right. So she came now to prove him, but she came with a lot of spices and gold and precious stone. Came to see Solomon. Verse 3.
Another one gone, verse 3. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king, which he told her not.
All right. So in other words, Solomon answered all her questions. So whatever questions, some back in it's not like today where we take up Google. We want to know something and we Google it.
Good.
Who was the Google back then? Solomon. So you want to know something, you don't Google it, you Solomon it.
God.
So she traveled to Jerusalem to Google some questions, you know, or to Solomon some questions. You know, Google should change the name, and Google should be changed. You know, name it Solomon.
Right.
So when you ask a question, rather than say Google it, you say Solomon it.
We should have our own search engine, Slakia, called Solomon.
And name it Solomon.
God.
Yeah. Israelite have their own search engine and call it Solomon. Because Solomon was the wisest man. We're talking about from something another BC. And it is still talked about today.
Right.
Because when you read the records, the account of how he was wise and things, he's still respected today. Continue.
Another one, verse 4. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom and the house that he had built, verse 5, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent by which he went up unto the Lord, unto the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her.
Right, because what she saw and what she heard, what she saw was greater than what she heard. So she was like, damn, I thought I was great.
Right.
Continue.
I'm Slakia, sir. When it said, and the meat of his table, that's similar to when the Edens come around us and taste our food for the first time. And
yeah,
them surprised to how food can taste this good because for them
good.
Like it.
Yeah.
God.
So when popcorn went to Africa,
God.
Could I tell us that food tastes like shit?
God.
But we just use that style and talk about pepper.
God.
And food can't taste like ours.
Right.
Even when we just cook our food with salt, and even if we don't put a portion of seasoning in it, can't taste like ours. Continue.
Another one, verse 6. And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard in mine own land of thy acts and of thy wisdom. Verse 7. Albeit I believe not the words until I came, and mine eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I heard.
Just like when one of them Russian presidents didn't visit America. He was so embarrassed that him cut short him visit. What America experienced is some of the prosperity that the Most High have in store for his people.
Okay.
He only get that prosperity because he have the 12 tribes. And the Most High does not want his people, even though he's punishing us, he don't want to die that way.
Okay.
Right? So that is why the food, but Esau is such that he closes his hand so tight that the Most High have to give him way more than his hand can hold, just so that some can run out of his hand to run down to the Most High's people. That's why America is so rich.
Okay.
And what is he doing? He's gathering up the crumb, and rather than giving us the crumb, giving it to other countries that are former Soviet blocs. About some 400 million, then give Ukraine a year time. What for? Only because they are white.
Okay.
Giving them up the delicacies. And when they are to give Jamaica anything, or give the Caribbean in general anything, it's as if like, nah, they should not get any. A lot of those money should be going to Haiti. The Haitians were intricate in helping them to fight their wars. And this time, World War III, all our people who go and fight with them are the ones who are going to die because the Most High is severing us from among them. So he's going to lick them with so much plague. You ever see a mangy dog?
Gun.
You don't want to be around, you don't like being around a mangy dog. When that mangy dog come around, you run him. Move from here, sir.
Gun.
Well, that is how the Most High is going to do them with so much plagues that because of their plagues, we don't want to be around them. So you're going to witness like racism being reversed, except that you won't be running them because they are white. You're going to run them because they are plagued.
Okay.
You don't want this plague, you don't want to catch it, so you're going to move from among them. That's those of us who are smart enough to do so. All right, continue.
Another one can. Verse 8. Happy are thy men, happy are these thy servants, which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom.
So in other words, these who are among you to hear, like how she just come on for the short time that she there and just listening to him and what she learned. She said, Blursley, just imagine these people who are among him, this king every day, hearing the wisdom. Man, wisdom rubbing off on them. So she was a bit jealous. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 9. Blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighted in thee to set thee on the throne of Israel. Because the Lord loved Israel forever, therefore made he thee king to do judgment and justice.
All right. Go on.
Another one can. Verse 10. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices very great store, and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these which the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon.
All right. So you see, the amount that she bring, no more, that quantity don't come to Solomon again.
Good.
What are spices? Nutmeg, cinnamon, what else? What else we use as spice? Almond, rose water, you know, all them pimento, all them things. Well, I don't know if back them days they would call what we call seasoning now, herbs. No, you have bitter herbs and you have spices. Bitter herbs are the scallion, your onion, your garlic. You know, herbs which you can just take up and eat. Yeah, the man take up onion and eat it, yes, but it's bitter herb.
Bitter.
You can eat that pleasantly. All right, continue.
Another one can. Verse 11. And the navy also of Hiram that brought gold from Ophir brought in from Ophir great plenty of almug trees and precious stones.
All right, so these trees, it's written in the Bible like this. It says trees, but it was actually timber, wood.
Good.
Right? But it says trees because that's where it come from. But what came in there was actually timber, lumber. Today we call it lumber.
Good.
Lumber, timber is the tree. You just cut it and it's raw. Lumber is when you make the board. So the board that would make furniture, the board that would make your door, your window, your roof, your ceiling came in. Just like in Jamaica, everything will come here by ship. But in Solomon time, this was something that is unheard of. The quantity, because one of the things was that these nations were also sending tribute to Solomon. So rather than send money, you grow trees, you send trees. You understand me?
Gotcha. Yeah, man.
In time to come when Christ return, and it's Revelation telling that the gates of heaven shall not close for the nations to bring in their tribute unto Christ. It's the same thing. You make splendid cars, even though we're not interested in cars. Maybe by that time a flying car.
Good.
All right? Because those streets of gold, a car tire now can run up on them streets of gold and wear down the gold, man. Nah, man. Fly over that.
Good.
And have the streets of gold for our feet to walk on. When you land your chariot, you walk on the streets of gold to go do what you're going to do. This is the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
So what Solomon have here was heaven in his time. Because it was a city that was more splendid than any other city that ever come on the face of the earth. And we're going to read and see more. Continue.
Another one, gun. Verse 12. And the king made of the almug trees pillars for the house of the Lord, and for the king's house, harps also, and psalteries for singers.
Right.
There
So
came
this was like board. So these harps and so now you get the board to make your harp and to make just like a guitar. You make a guitar made from wood, ain't it?
Gotcha. Yeah, man.
The box guitar made from wood.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
Another one, gun. And psalteries for singers. There came no such almug trees, nor were seen unto this day.
All right, 13.
Another one, gun. Verse 13. And King Solomon gave unto the queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, beside that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants.
Right, and there is no record here of she laying with Solomon to bring back any son.
God.
When they talk about would have been Menelik, that's rubbish. No such thing in the Bible. That is Ethiopian deception.
God.
All right, verse 14 now.
Another one, verse 14. Now the weight of the gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 606 talents of gold.
Wow. 666. Hold on. That is what? 666 talents of gold.
God.
Solomon in a mark 666 from them time. So
Fake
each year that's
Hebrews.
the huh?
So I mean, I say fake Hebrews would have say Solomon of the mark of the beast. So like,
well, if they were still sending 666 amount of gold unto us yearly, there would be no mark and no beast.
Right.
But because
Salakia, this is like it said every year in brought in this This would have come like America saying that they make this amount of $1 trillion per year and thing. This was like some kind of have to do like with our economy at the time.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah, these were economies. And it was so bountiful that we're going to see what he did with it, turned out. We're going to see what he did with it.
Canada one can. Verse
Right.
15. Canada one can. Verse 15. Beside that, he had of the merchantmen and of the traffic of the spice merchants and of all the kings of Arabia and of the governors of the country.
Yeah, man, taxations.
Gone.
And have to send in. You have to send on.
Right.
And 16.
Canada one can. Verse 16. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went to one target.
All right, but this was gold. You know, like today you put them in bars.
Okay,
store the bars, the gold in bars.
Okay. Gone.
Something like that.
Okay.
These are ways to store the gold. All right, 17.
Canada one can, verse 17. And he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold. Salakia.
That was one. We have another. We have storing the gold. Store them like shield.
Gone.
Go on.
Canada one can. 3 pounds of gold went to one shield, and the king put them in the house of the forest, of the forest of Lebanon.
Right, so that's where we store them. Now, these were the gold that the Babylonian king. You remember when I think it was Hezekiah, one of them king who, when the Babylonian diplomat came to Jerusalem, impressing the diplomat and show him everything that we have.
Okay.
And it so happened that diplomat became king in his country, and he never forget where them show him and come back for it. What to do?
Canada one can, verse 18. Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best gold.
You know, ivory is what?
Sir. Oh, elephant. Yes, gone, sir. Elephant tusk.
Yeah.
Gone.
So his throne was made from ivory. Ivory in itself is expensive, you know. And to plaster it with gold is the next thing. Hey, you know that throne probably still around in this earth, though.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Because these are not something that rots. Probably in some underground museum. King Solomon's throne.
Okay.
Damn. We'll soon find out. 19.
Canada one can, verse 19. The throne had 6 steps, and the top of the throne was round behind, and there were stays on either side on the place where the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the stays. And 2 lions stood beside the stays.
Right. So I have 2 things there, and I bet those lions were gold. Continue.
Canada one can, verse 20. Verse 20. And 12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the other, upon the 6 steps. Let me read that again. And 12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom.
Most beautiful throne that has ever made.
Gone.
Go on.
Canada one can, verse 21. And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold.
Everybody that are born with gold spoon in the mouth,
Right.
probably that's where it came from. Not only the spoon were gold, but your drinking cups were gold. And all the vessels, go on.
Another one can. And all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon.
No other place had such wealth. So much gold that you made is only Saddam. You see Saddam built one palace. You see the balusters, the step, the railing and the step going up.
Good.
The part that you would hold on to climb the stairs, the handrail, was gold.
Good.
Yeah, that was the life that Saddam was living, and they were painting a picture of Saddam like, Saddam at Iraq, like it's when the white man go in Iraq become a ghetto, Iraq was a more beautiful place than Ukraine. 22 now.
Another one can. Verse 22. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Iram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks.
Now these are what they call it. What they call these now?
Exotic animals.
Exotic animals.
God.
Nothing new.
God.
Nothing new. Peacock. You ever see when the peacock, is the male peacock open out the feather like this,
Okay.
You ever see it?
Gone. Beautiful sight. Gone.
Yeah, and the purpose of that is to attract the female.
Gone.
That's the sole purpose, to attract the female for mating. So they brought apes. But me understand the peacock, but we can't understand the ape at all. What
Probably just the sight.
Eh?
Probably just the sight type, you know what I mean? Have it in a cage, just looking at it. Say this is a great piece.
I understand the peacock because the peacock, especially mating time, they're beautiful. But I can't understand the ape at all.
Good.
But anyways, that was the exotic animal that he had brought to him every 3 years. And ivory. So you know what Solomon was doing? Well, though, sit around and wait till elephant drop dead.
It was hunting elephant.
I don't think so. I think he was hunting elephant. But there's another way you can get the tusk, you can catch them and cut it.
Gone, without killing them.
Without killing them.
Gone.
You can do that. So I don't know if that was what he was doing. All right, 23.
Another one gone. Verse 23. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and for wisdom.
All right, so we know that the next king coming on the earth to exceed King Solomon's riches and wisdom. 24.
Another one gone. Verse 24. And all the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put in his heart.
All right, 25.
Verse 25. And they brought every man his present, vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and garments, and armor, and spices, horses, and mules, arrayed year by year.
Right. So when all those horses and mules come in and you already have horses and mules, what do you think happen? Down to your ministers, all of them already have them stable. So what? Your servants now get horses.
Gone.
Yeah. 26.
Another one gone. Verse 26. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed in the cities for chariots and with the king at Jerusalem.
27.
Verse 27. And the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars made he to be as the sycamore trees that are in the vale for abundance.
Right. Plant up the place with cedar. Cedar tree, even today, cedar tree, expensive.
Okay.
Yeah. And he made silver. Silver was so common in Jerusalem like stone. The silver utensils were real utensils. You have a real silver knife and fork, real silver spoon.
Okay.
Of course, the king had golden spoons and so on, but the silver utensils and silver tray and so on. When you use silver to make these things, it's beautiful because you can polish and shine them. And they just look shiny.
Good.
Yeah, you can imagine when the king's table set with all those silver and gold on it. You don't want to eat there, man, because you don't want to mess it up.
Right.
All right. So, this time of King Solomon mark a splendid time in Israel,
Good.
All right. At the end of this, we look at it. Continue.
Gun. Verse 28. And Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt and linen yarn. The king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price.
What does that mean?
Meaning get a discount, a king's discount.
All right, because they were the king's merchant. So that was the king's business.
Good.
So Solomon was in the linen business too, selling linen. Just like how, the Queen of England have some businesses.
Okay, good.
But the two of the Queen's commodities that we use. Detal.
Good.
All right. Lucozade.
Gun.
All right. When you read the fine print on it, you see who sanctioned it.
Okay.
Sanctioned by the Queen. It's part of her business. Remember that the Queen have business around the world that makes over £1 billion per annum, tax-free.
Okay, gun.
Yeah. That's how she sustains herself. So you, the royal, even though you're royalty, have to sustain yourself. And remember, Solomon did not tax his people. He taxed those who were bondmen and servants to Israelites.
Gun.
So one of his business was here. The king's merchant received this so that he can sell it back. So that was not a small business. That's been like a distributor in linen.
Gun.
So he probably supply entire Jerusalem or entire the land of Israel with linen. And that was the king's business. All right, 29.
Gun. Verse 29. And a chariot came up and went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and an horse for 150, and so for all the kings of the Hittites, and for the kings of Syria did they bring them out by their means.
All right, so these were for sale. Sell horses, sell chariot. A lot of back then, Just like how America would sell them war planes and them thing.
Gone.
Yeah, that's how you make the money. That's how you make some money. So you sell chariots, you sell horses. Who you sell them to? Sell them to other kings.
Okay. Gone.
And what? They're not getting any half breed, they're getting good breed. But this period of Solomon's time was when we were in, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
Another one gone. Another one gone. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
And that's what we experienced during King Solomon time, which is why it is said that which is why it says here that all the kings, I'm going to say what verse it is. All right, the kings of the earth came to him. Right, verse 23 says, so King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and for wisdom. And 24 says, and all the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put in his heart. So this is what happens when we serve the Most High. We become an eye above all nations of the earth. However, you know, that is another thing. All right,
jump to verse 15.
Oh, no, not 15. No, I'm not going to 15. Give me verse 3.
Another one gone. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 3. Blessed shalt thou, Slakia, blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field.
Right, blessed in the town and blessed in the country. So, King Solomon time, that's us. That was us experiencing the Most High's blessing in the city, because Solomon built cities, isn't it? A lot of cities. And he built fields, cedar trees, and so on. Building cedar tree. If you have a cedar grove, you know how much money that man. When those trees are ready to harvest, lots of money. The only thing is that it takes time, you know. You probably have to wait around 20 years or more on it before you can harvest it.
Okay.
But whichever time, when they are ready, they're not away. Sorry. The price for these things don't go down. The only danger is if fire get away in the field. All right, go back to 1 Kings.
Another one gone.
Where are we?
Chapter 11.
11.
Gone, sir.
All right.
Another one gone. This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. But King Solomon loved many
Hold
strange
on, man.
women.
Hold on. We don't finish then. Did we?
Yeah, we read the part 29 about the chariots came up out of Egypt for 600 shekels. Where that explains it's like how America sell them weaponry, them tanks and them planes today.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So he had these things in Egypt. He had horse farm in Egypt and so on. All right. No, we're not going to verse 11. We're going to go. If we're going to 11, if we're going to chapter 11, we're going to go over time.
Okay, good.
You got Ezekiel 37.
Canada one gun.
All right, no. What about Ezekiel 37?
Okay.
Let's save that for our next time, after 9 now. Right, so King Solomon time is the time that this kingdom of heaven that we read about in Jerusalem. Right. Give me Revelation. Revelation 1.
Canada one gun.
The gates shall not be closed.
Slovakia. Slovakia. Revelation 21 and verse 25.
All right. We're going to read it from two places. Isaiah 60 and 11.
Canada one gun.
All right. Before you go to that.
Canada one gun. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 11. Therefore, thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought.
All right, so this is talking about Isaiah 1.
Look here.
60.
Isaiah 60 and verse 11. So,
all right. And the other one is Revelation 1.
21 and verse 25. And it says, and the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall not be Slakia, for there shall be no night there.
All right. So the two things is saying the same thing, really, you know.
God.
21 and
21 and 25 and verse 26 as well. Verse 26 say, and they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it.
Hold on. Read from 24.
Another one gone. Verse 24. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. Verse 25. Verse 25. And the gate of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. Verse 26. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it.
All right. So this is the same thing like what Solomon had in his city, where he had in getting linen at a price that was definitely for the king's merchant.
Okay.
He had horses in Egypt, breeding horses in Egypt. He was making chariots and selling them to kings and so on. Of course, it would be for their cavalry and for their fleet of chariots, right? Probably making ships too, in that mention, but he had navy and commerce. In other words, Jerusalem was the commercial hub for his time.
Okay.
Just like we have America being the commercial hub today. Babylon is the commercial hub today. That is what they want. That is what they want, because that is money. That's how you maintain your riches. That's what Solomon learned. And this was what deceived Solomon to in making other temple to other gods in Jerusalem. Because they have people from all over the world coming there. So when they come to Jerusalem, they could go to there, they could see a temple unto their God that they could go and serve their God while they are there.
Okay.
But that was the mistake he made. So how is the Most High going to deal with it this time? How will Christ deal with it this time? Read same Revelation 21, read verse 27.
Another one gone. Verse 27. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination, or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
Right, so no unclean thing shall go into the new city, Jerusalem. So no temple to no other God.
Okay.
No, what are some of the things today that are abomination? I make it a lie. No, that white Christ.
Okay.
That make it a lie. You're not going to have that in there.
Right. Haile Selassie.
No Selassie.
Okay.
No Selassie as no God.
Right.
Right? You talk about the Ethiopians, you're going to talk about them as just another nation.
Right.
You're not going to ascribe unto them but they are Israelites. Nah, as a matter of fact, they themselves too, there's a Jew. Them not say Israelite either. Right, so the Most High got them at the Jew thing here from long time ago. So for hundreds of years they call themselves Israelite. They call themselves Jewish. They don't call themselves Israelite. But we now come up and we call ourselves the Israelite. And we say the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites of the Bible. But in that, when New Jerusalem, none of them abominable things. Because to be calling themselves, taking our identity, that's an abomination, man. Right? To celebrate, no Christmas celebration will be done there.
Right.
No New Year's. No Easter.
No Ash Wednesday.
No Ash Wednesday. The only celebrations they're going to have. No birthday.
Okay.
The only celebrations they're going to have is the ones that are in the Bible. So
Right.
we will still have high holidays, and they are going to be glorious and splendid, bigger than Christmas, bigger than Easter, bigger than any one of these that you have, but
Right.
it will be done unto the Most High God of Israel, not unto any false God. And that was the mistake that Solomon made. Right. He
Okay.
let these women, these strange women, maybe that's how they defile or the strange women change his heart. They tell him, say, you know, when the Japanese, when the Chinese come, the Moabites come to Jerusalem, it would be good if you have a temple unto Buddha. You understand? Things like
Gone.
things like those. And but the scripture don't tell you that. The scripture tell you that these strange women turn his heart away from God. They don't tell you how. But the fact that you went and married them, and the Most High say you should not, the Bible don't need to tell you how they turn away his heart from him, from God.
Okay.
All you need to know is that don't marry them. Right? You don't need to, and we always, you ever say to a child, don't put you on it, don't do so and so, and then turn to you and say, why? You see that why? That is us Israelites. So when God said, do it poor, we say, why? He'll not tell you why. You go and go it and then you will see why. Well, now you know why. When he said, don't sin, now we know why we don't sin.
Okay.
Because when you read 1 Kings 10, you see why we should not be sinning. Because you see what you're missing out of. That glorious wisdom that Solomon had. The king after him should have wisdom as well. Look at the throne that he had. You have silver so much that you can make stones out of it. Probably put it and you either drop it around the kingdom or you drop it on the streets, whichever way.
Yeah.
But that's the same way the new city, Jerusalem, will be. Streets will be paved with gold.
Right. Even better.
Yes.
Okay.
Way much better. Right? So it doesn't need to tell us that you're going to have golden utensils and golden cup to drink from. If you're walking on golden, just imagine your house.
Okay.
Just imagine. All right, questions?
Yeah, one question. Is the peacock among some of the clean animals?
Peacock.
Yeah. Cause I noticed that them have their feet look kind of like the chicken feet.
You know, I really don't know because they don't really eat them, you know.
Okay, good.
People they don't really just keep them for like beautification.
Okay.
Have some exotic bird around your own house or the
Yeah.
yard. They're noisy too, you see, man. They're a bit noisy. But I don't know. They're like the turkeys, you know.
Yeah. Always. So at one point I thought they were the same bird. Slack. Yeah.
I don't hear of people eating them. When a person buy a peacock, it's generally you have a nice home, and you're just using it to strut around the yard and beautify your yard.
Okay.
That is one kind of bird you don't really see in poor people yard. I don't know, maybe because they are just
You see
exotic.
the common fowl. Slack.
Common fowl, you see.
Okay.
Common fowl has a mongrel that.
Okay.
Peacocks are generally exotic birds. But of course, you know, some people want to eat exotic animals. But that's they're not bred for domestic purpose, for eating.
God.
Even if they are clean, I don't know of them doing that. Never hear nobody talk about that. I know when people have them around the yard, then you just want to see this beautiful mating time where they go and open out the feathers
God.
and do the dance. They have a dance with them doing it. All right, so that's it. Any other question?
Gone, sir. That was it, sir.
Yeah, you have a question. What's it? Speak up.
I was saying that my mother told me something about dying. She said that when you die, you reborn into a new body and you don't remember anything in the past.
All right, it's called reincarnation.
And I was wondering if people who sin, do they still reborn into a new body?
Yes, man, and come back and pay for that too. Like all house of Israel, we have sinned, but here we are reincarnated. So yes, you never sin, you come back to improve the life that you had before, that you had lived before. It is through several incarnations that, the purpose of the incarnation is really for you to get it right. Get what right? Not sinning.
Good.
So you're reborn. Each lifetime you're supposed to learn not to sin. But for some of us, we come back and we keep making the same mistakes. But Christ is saying that a time will come when we're going to be reincarnated in the last days here, and we won't be making those mistakes like that again. Still, I'm going to have some people making mistakes, but it won't be like what we're doing today. We have the entire nation of Israel sinning. Understand? All right. So with that, pass the class to Priest and Officer Kayama.
All right, clap it up.
All right, shout out Priest and Officer Award. How you doing, brother?
All right, these are the ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. Here's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in the book of Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10, means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced Mahashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. upcoming Holy Convocation. That is a Passover. It is on the 15th of April, will be held at Cocoa Beach, Florida. The ad will play at the end of the class. If you want to attend, like the sister who stated, just call the number in the description of the video and you will get the instructions. All right, you can find the Passover in Exodus chapter 12 and verse 1 to 51, the book of Leviticus 23, 4 to 5, 1 Corinthians 5, 7 to 8, and 2 Corinthians, it's like 2 Chronicles 30 and 17. Reminding Akiam and Aquatiam to check on social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say, I'm Manuel, which means to stand. Sarwapanya Akwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in English, Slakia in Hebrew, and then in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash. Aya.
Aya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwatka.
Malakwatka.
Taba'a. Taba'a. Slakia.
Taba'a.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaka.
Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Maharataza.
Maharataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Bashamayam.
Bashamayam.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kal.
Kal.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kasalat Nawa.
Kasalat Nawa.
Kawabwat Yanawa.
Kawabwat Yanawa.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabaya Nawa.
Tabaya Nawa.
Banasayawa.
Banasayawa.
Abal.
Abal.
Awashainawa.
Awashainawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Kaya. Kaya. Slakia.
Repeat.
No, me I say Kaya or Kaya. Slakia, sir.
Kaya.
Hi.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwa.
Amalakwa.
Wa'ala.
Wahala.
Watapara.
Watapara.
La'aiwalamya.
La'aiwalamya.
Aman.
Amen. In English, our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
The power and the glory.
And the power and the glory.
Forever so be it. Amen. Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth and all things living.
King of heaven and earth and all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the heathen
to the heathen
that speak against us, thy prophets,
that speak against us, thy prophets,
the teachers,
the teacher,
the princes,
the
priests,
priest,
the Israelite brothers and the school.
the Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the heathen,
to the heathen,
and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel,
and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel,
that refuse to give to the school.
that refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites,
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites
and the nations,
and the nations
and their drug dealers,
and their drug dealers,
the court system,
court system,
the prison system,
the prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the government of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
Pope,
Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity, Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, Skinheads, Posse Comitazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channel and the radio channel, convict the spirit of any of thy people, that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen, that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your word throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Let loose all the plagues. Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel.
Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel
come down with the flying saucer.
Come down with the flying saucer.
And punish all the heathen.
And punish all the heathens
that come up against us.
That come up against us.
As we speak thy word.
As we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all.
Cause it to be known by all.
That it is the angels that have done it.
That it is the angels that has done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh, I thank you always so be.
In the name of Yahweh, I thank you always so be. All right, this is the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Ba'akosha.
Ba'akosha.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Akak.
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 Larapa'a.
Larapa'a,
Kalmakala,
Kalmakala,
Wakal Marawa,
Wakalmadawa,
Akak,
Aka,
Lata'a,
Lata'a,
Amatazaraya,
Amatazaraya,
Akak,
Aka,
Akwaya,
Lahakwaya,
Mafia,
Mafia,
Akak,
Aka,
Ayakawa,
Ayawakawa,
Atamala,
Atamala,
Lagarasha,
Lagarashan,
Bashami Awashai,
Shami,
Tawada Man.
Tawada Ama. In English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh,
Yahweh, in the name of Awashai,
please give us the power.
please give us the power.
Power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
Power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
Cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
To cast them out in the name of Yahawashi.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you, so be it. All right. This is the prayer for the poor. So,
For the blessing.
for the blessings. So, this is the prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Basham Yahawashi.
Basham Yahweh.
Baraklanawa.
Baraklanawa.
Wayasharala.
Wayasharala.
Wa'a.
Waha.
Wayataparia.
Wayataparia.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa'a.
Rapa'a.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
The generals.
The generals.
The captain.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
The young men and the sisters.
The young men and the sisters.
Basham Yahawashi.
Basham Yahweh.
Tawada Man.
Tawada Man. What we just said in English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh, bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahweh, thank you so much.
All right, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Basham Yahawashi Barakatah.
Yahweh Basham Yahawashi Barakatah.
Yadamata, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. Turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel, I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alathan Basham Yahawashi. Yadamata, class dismissed.
Alright, to our online viewers, remember to like, subscribe, share our channel, our videos, this class. Remember to pay your tithes, ISUPK.com, and pay your tithes. Goes towards the waking up of your people. Alright, shalom.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you in your
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
It's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of Lords. On one and two. We ain't never stopping.
Control your dishes, pots, and forks, knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.
One no cowards in our camp, gotta let their colors fly.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you and your
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
There's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of Lords. On one and two. We ain't never stopping.
Control your dishes, pots, and forks, knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud,